Hi, I'm Joy.
Hi, I'm Lorraine.
And this is Girlish Gurus. And Lorraine, why are we here?
We're here to talk about mid-lifestyle topics for women who are 45 and older to help you live your best, healthiest, and most fulfilled life. We're also going to have lots of fun along the way.
So let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of Girlish Gurus. I'm Joy.
And I'm Lorraine.
Lorraine, what are we talking about today?
Today, we have a special guest, Caroline Pearce, and this episode is very special to me because what we will be talking about has affected me in my life. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But I just wanted to read a little bit about Caroline. Caroline Pearce is an international fitness expert, sports commentator, and former international heptathlete and bobsledder. With degrees in sports science and nutrition, she brings a wealth of knowledge to her work in fitness education and performance coaching. Caroline discovered whole body vibration therapy while recovering from a knee injury and has since become a passionate advocate for its benefits of recovery, bone health, longevity, and overall well-being. Her mission is to make effective fitness solutions accessible and practical, particularly for women seeking to stay active and strong through their midlife transitions. Like the ladies out there.
That's right. Welcome.
What a wonderful introduction. Thank you so
welcome
much.
Caroline Pearce.
Welcome. We're so glad to have you.
Hello. Thank you. No, it's really great to join you both. And I'm looking forward to hearing your story, Lorraine, as well, as to how you came across whole body vibration training. And I'm sure we'll share a lot of what we both have experienced.
Yeah. And before we actually before we jumped on this call, Joy and I were talking about, because we had both been stalking your Instagram. And oh my gosh, you are one fabulous lady. Oh my gosh.
For sure.
And so
very impressive.
Busy and so physical. Everything
and
that
gorgeous.
You do, amazing work.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, they say it's a way of life, and fitness training, being an athlete originally, has just been a way of my life. And I think when you, same as brushing your teeth in the morning, if you make it part of your routine, it's something you want to do every day. Or if you don't want to do it, you have a routine in place where you do it, because we don't always want to do it.
That one is me. That's me. I'm not great at it, but I try.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Well, Caroline, we want to jump in and get to a little bit about your exercise journey. Can you share how you came about the whole body vibration therapy and what intrigued you about it?
Yeah, so at the time, and we're talking about 20 years ago now, I was studying exercise physiology and nutrition at university back in the UK, Loughborough University, and I was competing as an athlete. You mentioned there bobsledding, heptathlon, and most people probably don't even know what a heptathlon is, but it's the 7 track and field event.
Look it up.
Yeah, it's a 7 track and field event. So obviously I was putting a lot of strain on my body, training very hard. And I essentially ended up with bone on bone, which I still have to this day, in my left knee. And the thing is, you don't actually have any pain receptors in your cartilage. So it's not till the bone hits the bone you feel the pain and know you've necessarily got a problem. And just coincidentally, at around that time when I was just desperately wanting to get back to high level competition, but I had this incredible pain and just affecting the way that I could walk and run and everything, a former colleague of mine from some trade shows and fitness jobs I'd done to support my university said, have you heard of a power plate? Have you heard of whole body vibration? He said, I'm working with it at the Harrods store, the big Harrods store in London. Come down and have a look. It'd be amazing for your recovery. So I was sort of at the point where I think, well, if anything can help me at this point, I'm going to go and check it out. So we spent the afternoon together, and I basically replicated all the rehab exercises the physio had given me with the vibration. And it was just one of those wow moments for me, where everything I was learning as part of my degree, a master's degree at the time in physiology and nutrition, biomechanics, the way the body worked, made sense. How the vibration impacts our muscle, our blood flow, bone density as well. While I was doing the exercises on the vibration platform, I was feeling this deep contraction in muscles that I wasn't able to switch on myself. They were just wasting away, because your body's very clever at, oh, there's a pain, there's an injury, I'm going to reroute and use other muscles and not affect that damaged area. But the power plate's vibration was like intensely contracting the muscles that were basically wasting away. So after that, they couldn't get rid of me. I was essentially sort of coming down to the store, trying the machine out. And he said, look, you need to meet the team. Vibration training, power plate was relatively new back then in terms of people's understanding. But I just became fascinated with it. And in no time, I was working with the company, teaching their education, involved in the research, and gone on to work with everyone from elite athletes to people with disabilities and people in between that want to look good, feel good, move better, be pain-free and everything else. But it's very much a product that needs education. It's not like a treadmill where you look at it and intuitive, you're like, I'm going to walk or I'm going to run.
Right.
No, I've had people say, do I weigh myself on it? Do I jump on it? Do I run? No, you do whatever you do on the floor, whatever exercise you do on the mat, in the gym, in your home, on the floor, difficult, easy, anything in between, you do it with vibration. And we can talk about how and why, but the benefits are accelerated. We call it acceleration training. So for me, I was hooked from the beginning, and just the pure number of people across that whole spectrum I mentioned that have been able to benefit from vibration has just been phenomenal.
Oh,
That's my
that's
story.
awesome. And is it true that like NASA uses it, or they studied it, right, for astronauts
Yeah.
returning from space?
Yeah, exactly. So the very first use of vibration training back in the 50s was with the Russian cosmonauts using it to improve their bone and their muscle mass prior to the space expedition, where you're going to be in a weightlessness environment where your muscle and bone will diminish quite rapidly. And they found that when they came back from their mission, they had significantly less and had maintained their bone and muscle compared to the American counterparts that were out at the same time. So the very first use was, in fact, in improving bone density. And then obviously we realize it helps muscle mass as well for the same principle. And the way to think about it is, especially as we get older, we lose bone density, go into osteopenia, osteoporosis phase. And really, you need to put enough loading on the bone to stimulate bone growth. But most people, as they get older, can't do the amount of weight training and impact training that's necessary to stimulate that bone growth. You know, I can't, when my grandma was alive, I couldn't have her squatting heavy weight to improve her bone density. She can't do it, but she can stand on a power plate with vibration. And the vibration creates that same tensile and compressive loading on the bone that stimulates bone growth compared to heavy weight training. So think of how many more people can then benefit in terms of their bone density, because it's so much more doable for so many people. So you're right, that was one of the very first uses. And as a result, the papers, independently research, etc., nothing to do with us, is all out there for people to see and read.
Well, talking about bone density, right? Women going through menopause, through postmenopause, osteoporosis is a big concern. And that's where this really affected me. I was diagnosed with osteoporosis in my left hip, and then osteopenia, like everywhere else. And I was determined not to go on medications. I wanted to do it holistically. I was eating better food. I was doing my K2, my D3, and I discovered the power plate and read all the research. I used it literally for, I think, a year and a half. And I used the exercises that they suggested specifically for postmenopausal women, like a minute on, a minute off, and doing like all the different things. Well, I reversed it. I now have no osteoporosis in my hip. I have osteopenia, and I'm working towards just getting rid of everything.
Amazing. Yeah. I love hearing that, because to me, I'm not surprised, because I know the mechanism by which it works. But I think for most people listening to that, it almost sounds a little bit too good to be true, doesn't it? But if people at home are thinking, well, what is this? I can't visualize it. You're essentially looking at a platform, a round platform. Some machines have a console that you hold on to. Others are just a freestanding platform on the ground. And it's vibrating. And it's vibrating at frequencies between 25 to 50 hertz of frequency, depending on the model. And those vibrations, that frequency, stimulates your muscle at the same rate. So it's a huge acceleration of muscle contraction. So one of the benefits you would have been experiencing as well is the huge increase in blood circulation also. So you're getting more nutrients to the muscle and the bone. You're getting rid of the waste products that accumulate in our body a lot faster as well. But significantly, that vibration is stimulating the bone. And that's what led to your benefits. That's the part that it's very hard to describe power plate without feeling it and trying it, because it's when you stand on it, you can't even, when it's turned on and you're stood the other side of the room, you can't even see it moving. The movement of that vibration's 1 or 2 millimeters, depending on the setting, but you feel it. When you stand on it, you feel, and the beauty is whatever position you stand in, squat, stretch, lunge, holding the straps for a bicep curl, the vibration's directed into that muscle that's working. So it's almost like that instant feedback that you know you're targeting the muscle or the area of the body that you want to. So your hips, for example, you can like, I need to work on the strength around the quads and the glutes and the inner thighs and the area around the knee. And you know you're doing it right because it gives you the feedback directly to your muscles.
Yeah, it really is. And even if I'm not feeling good, I'll lay on it. I'll lay my hip on it just to get like a little massage from it, and it feels fantastic.
Well, that's the blood flow. Yeah,
Yep.
it's funny. When we do any kind of power plate training session, if we don't finish with the massage at the end, people are like, hang on a minute, hang on. Where's the good bit? Where's the bit where I just get to lay on it and feel the vibration?
I love it.
Well, my husband actually, now Lorraine and I have talked about this a little bit. I have a personal connection to the power plate too, although I've only been on the reins. But my husband, he has a mild case of osteogenesis imperfecta, and he's had issues with his bones, and so does his mother, incidentally. And if that's been an issue for a lot of years. Well, just recently, he has gone to an orthopedic practice here in North Carolina, and they have put him on a program where there's several treatments that they are providing for him, but one of them is he's got to spend time on their power plate every week. So I'm excited to see how that, because it manifests as pretty extensive osteoporosis. And I'm excited to see how things progress with him. And it's actually a doctor that Lorraine said, hey, go to that doctor. And sure enough, they have a power plate in their practice. So I'm excited to see. I personally have a connection to this too. So that's why when Lorraine said to me, oh, we're going to interview Caroline Pearce and we're going to talk about the power plate, I was very excited about that. And my husband said, so far he's enjoying it, but it's really hard to drink water while you're on it.
Yeah, drink the water before and afterwards. But no, that's great to hear as well. And more practices and doctors are on board and understanding the principle of vibration. And, you know, we sell a lot of units into different facilities. We have another machine as well called the biodensity, which is specifically for bone density. It's all about isometric loading of the bone, and we have those in a lot of facilities that specialize in osteoporosis or anything to do with bone. But coming back to the power plate, I mean, was there any questions that he had or anything like that I can answer? But it's great to hear that he's starting his journey with it as well.
We're still kind of in that new phase of he's still just now getting used to it, but I actually do think he's doing the other machine as well. He does a machine where he gets on it and they have him load his, do push-ups and things like that. So I think
you do the chest press, the crunch core, the core crunch, so he's fantastic. I mean, and that's a great combination in that type of facility, to have the biodensity and to have the power plate. The two together are phenomenal. And just what we're talking about is that you can not just prevent the decline, you can reverse the numbers when it comes to osteoporosis to osteopenia. So it's great to see you've experienced that yourself, because I can talk about it and the mechanism as I did, why it happens, but to see real life cases, I think that's when people say, oh, okay, if it worked for you, it could work for me too.
I can tell you, I think my doctor was very shocked, because she wanted me to take the Fosamax or whatever she wanted me to go on. And I said, no, I think I can do this. And the numbers came back, and sure enough, she was like, oh, really? Like, yeah. So also, as we age, our balance and mobility can change. So how does the power plate or whole body vibration therapy help with that? How does that help, I guess, with stability and with posture, especially for women over 45?
Yeah, exactly. So as we age, that's sort of what we call the proprioception, the ability to sort of be in control of our body and our environment can start to reduce. And stability training, it's not as sexy as the strength training or other things we do, but it's a really vital part of our training as we age in particular, because fall prevention is another factor that we want to consider as we get older. Now, the reason power plate helps so much with this is the platform actually moves in 3 different directions. So the primary movement that I talked about, that 1 or 2 millimeter movement up and down, is what's stimulating the muscle contraction. That's what's causing those reflex automatic contractions in the muscles. But as a result of it moving up and down so rapidly, and I can't even clap as fast as the power plate's vibrating, you're naturally getting front and back and side to side movement as well. So everything you do on power plate, squatting, lunging, all the things I mentioned, you're doing it essentially against this automatically moving Bosu ball, for example. What that's doing is it's switching on our stabilizing muscles at a much faster rate. So most people, your average person's only really engaging or activating 40, maybe 50% of their muscle fibers. Power plate's enabling your body to engage or activate 90% plus of the muscle fibers, which essentially means a lot of those stabilizers. So for me and my injury, it was all the stability muscles around the knee. If it could be around the hip, it could be around the ankle. So if you want to replicate stability exercises, like a simple single leg balance, or it could be a single leg balance and then you use your arms as a driver to offset your movement, that kind of thing, like simple things, that vibration is going to switch on all those stabilizers, the core, the ankle, the knee, the hip, And as a result, when you do things regularly over time, they get stronger. Your body's ability to switch those muscles on itself when you're not even anywhere near a power plate, you're going about your everyday, you've trained it, you've caused that adaptation to the muscle and the proprioception, your body's awareness of your body and how it should respond to any lumps and bumps in the road, whatever it might be, pavement that you're walking, sidewalk that you're walking on, and respond faster. So again, the benefits that we see in terms of improved stability, that can help athletes in terms of their performance. It can help the elderly, fall prevention, and people as they age, 45 and plus, to just regain and prevent the loss of that stability. So it's that three-dimensional movement combined with the fact that the vibration is switching on a lot more of the muscle fibers a lot faster than you can possibly achieve on the ground without vibration.
So I have a quick question. The exercises I specifically did, I think I shared that it was a minute on, a minute off, and it was like a total of 10 minutes on, 10 minutes off for the different exercises I was doing. For different things or different ages, or for whatever reason you want to be on it, are there different ways to do it? Because I know some women go into like the chiropractor's office, they've told me, and they just stand on it for 10 minutes. And so I don't know if there's a benefit versus doing it the one on, one off, or does it make a difference?
Yeah, so I wouldn't essentially recommend just standing on it for 10 minutes. We encourage you to actively use the machine. In terms of protocols, it's endless how many there are. It's the same as if you went to a gym with a personal trainer. You tell them your goals, they're going to set a program that will have a set number of repetition, sets, duration according to your current ability and what you want to achieve. But what you're doing is very typical of how we all would tend to work out on power plate. You're doing it in intervals. So any given exercise, let's say you were doing a squat, for example, just a classic squat, you can either, and this is what's interesting about power plate as well, you can either hold that squat in a static position. So for example, I would just be holding it like that, or I can actually move up and down through the position as well. You can do both on power plate, because even though you're not moving, that vibration still causing the muscle fibers to contract and relax. Then if you add movement, you're making it more functional and relative to what we do in life. So you typically do around 30 to 60 seconds each exercise. Then that transition time to the next exercise could be 30 seconds, 60 seconds. That depends on your ability, your fitness, your familiarity with the vibration, all those different things, or even just transition time to the next exercise. So you might, for example, do 30-second squat, 30-second plank hold, and then you might do that 2 to 3 times, or you might do all different exercises, 30-second lunge, 30-second core crunch hold. So it's really about short amount of time on each exercise, but accumulating exercise for no more than 20 to 30 minutes. And that's where the time-saving element comes in as well, because a power plate workout is considerably shorter than any workout you would do on the ground, is the comparison, or with weights or whatever it might be, because your muscles are working so much faster. The neurons and the blood flows all being activated and worked a lot faster. You fatigue faster. So you don't need more time than that. But it's also helping your body to recover faster also. So it's very time saving. And I think for a lot of people that mentally can't get their head around an hour of exercise or whatever it might be, you can really sort of do what I call that bite-sized fitness, accumulate shorter periods of fitness. And the way we typically look at a power plate workout is in 3 stages: prepare, perform, recover. So your first stage of that 20 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever it might be, will be your preparation, which is the stretching exercises. So say it's a hamstring stretch or a calf stretch or an arm stretch, whatever it is, the vibration is going to stimulate relaxation in that muscle at a faster rate. So you get more flexible and mobile and ready for exercise a lot faster. So you do your 30 seconds of maybe 5 exercises before you start. Then you transition into the perform better part. That's the squats, the lunges, the sit-ups, planks, all the familiar exercises, which can be as advanced as adding weight and medicine balls, or as simple as holding a squat, depending on who's doing it. Again, 30 to 60 seconds each exercise, whatever that program is, like yours was 60 on, 60 off. And then at the end, you then do the massage. So when you're doing the exercise, it's what we call a sort of active use of the vibration, stimulating those muscles to contract and relax. Then you move on to the massage at the end, and it's what we call the passive use of the vibration. So now you're just basically laying the fleshy part of the muscle. It could be the tricep, the outer thigh. For women, that feels amazing because we typically have really poor blood circulation around our thighs and our butt. Inner thigh, quads, hamstrings, calves. You just lay it on the platform, increase the settings for that purpose, and just let the vibration feel good. Increase your blood and your lymph flow as well, help flush those toxins out the body, and you're done. So that's the continuum of a workout. On other days, you might just get up in the morning and do stretches on it, and that's all you're going to do for the day. or you might just do some massage and call it a recovery session. Another day, you might focus on stability exercises if you're rehabbing from something. So the use is so wide, but it's really about just, am I using it for stretching and mobility, for strengthening, bone density, stability, or just to recover and feel good? So we have a lot of options and different ways we can use it. And if people are going, well, how would I know what to do? Well, we have an app, a free app, PowerPlate app, that's got everything in it, all the exercises, workouts, and some of our machines come with a console, which has all the workouts in the machine as well. So it's all there to guide people through.
So how long, Caroline, would you say an average workout lasts? Is it like 10 minutes, 20 minutes? What?
10 to 30 minutes, depending on what you're doing. Yeah, you wouldn't need to go longer than 30 minutes. If you haven't got much time, or you're new to PowerPlate or new to exercise, 10 minutes can be perfect to get you the adaptation and early results that you need.
Okay, so part of the reason why I asked that question is because I'm well past 45 and women in our age group, one of the issues of perimenopause and menopause is energy and fatigue. And part of the reason why I don't do heavy workouts is because it's just too exhausting at this point. So what are the benefits of using whole body vibration therapy for energy and fatigue? Is that something that can help boost your energy?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, any exercise, it's the wanting to do it that's sometimes the hardest part. But any exercise is going to boost your endorphins, okay? The feel-good hormones, the happy hormones, the serotonin as well. PowerPlate massively increases the production of those endorphins, those feel-good hormones. In fact, PowerPlate has a huge benefit on increasing your testosterone, your human growth hormone, as well as suppressing your cortisol, your stress response. So these are all independent studies that we have endless amounts on the website, powerplate.com. You can find them online. So the vibration has been found to increase the production and release of those hormones I mentioned, but it's just energizing. That vibration, if you get up in the morning, we usually reach for a cup of coffee, right? Still do that, that's fine. Hydrate first. Hop on the power plate and do maybe 5 minutes of some stretching or just a light squat or something like that, and just feel your body energized. It's really instant. And Lorraine, if you've been using it for a while yourself, you can sort of attest to what I'm saying, that you suddenly feel better afterwards as well. It's like, okay, 1, that was 5 minutes. 2, I feel good, and I've actually got a lot more energy. So I can explain that that's how you feel, but scientifically it's to do with the effect it's having on the hormones, the blood flow as well, getting that blood circulation to the brain, everything. It's just accelerated with PowerPlate.
Lorraine, I'm coming over and I'm getting on your PowerPlate.
You're welcome anytime.
Well,
I don't charge much.
Well, that's
the way that gyms monetize. They can charge by the 30 minutes for these sessions.
Yes, I believe it. But the motivation factor is huge. I mean, as you progress in perimenopause and you become postmenopausal, it's just such a difficult thing to clear out your brain fog and just take care of yourself by doing exercise, and just to stay motivated is not an easy thing. And so that afternoon slump and that afternoon cup of coffee, a lot of people rely on. I know I do quite frequently, but if it's something that you can step on the power plate for 10 or 15 minutes a couple of times a week, then gosh, I can't think of a better motivator to get one.
And also there's 2 factors there with what you're talking about. One is, when something feels good, you're more likely to want to do it again. If something felt miserable and hard and it wiped you out for the day, the motivation to do it again the next day is not there. But if you came off whatever it was you were doing, in this case, a short vibration training session on PowerPlate, where you felt good, we want to do things that make us feel good, right? And secondly, because the workout time is so short, you could even just go and do 3 exercises for 3 minutes and you're going to get that endorphin release. So I think when we break things down and we don't mentally think, oh, I've got to take an hour out of my day, I've got to change my clothes and get ready for an online workout or gym, whatever it is, we're less inclined to do it. But when you're like, well, my power plate's there, my desk is here, 3 minutes just today. Some days it might be 20 minutes, that's fine. And I'm going to do that a few times a week. Maybe I'll step on it every day to stretch and massage, but maybe 3 times a week, maybe 4, I'm going to do a very short session. That whole kind of bite-sized fitness concept, I think, makes it just feel much more manageable and doable for most of us. And then the motivation's there. And also, we always say this as fitness professionals, motivation's like a muscle cycle. It's going to fatigue at some point. So don't just rely on motivation. Schedule it in. If your normal morning routine is to grab your coffee, open the laptop, check your emails. We'll put another step in that. Hop on your power plate for 3 minutes. So if that becomes part of your routine, it's almost a non-negotiable, in the same way you're not going to forget to brush your teeth or miss out that step of your morning or whatever it might be. So I always advise, whatever it is you're doing, just schedule that appointment with yourself in the day and make it sort of a bit of a non-negotiable. But when that appointment is something that feels good, makes you feel better and energizes you, less of a hard sort of pill to swallow in terms of making yourself do it.
That's a no-brainer. Such an efficient and I love the phrase bite-size exercise plan. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So Caroline, can you share other stories of women who've had success stories with the power plate? You can now share mine.
I will, of course. I mean, just in my own family alone, I mean, I talked about my grandma before she passed away, and we got her one of the smaller power plate units. And one thing people don't realize you can do is you can put that machine under your feet when you're sat on the couch or the sofa and allow that vibration to stimulate that blood flow. She was barely walking towards the end, but we could put her feet on the power plate while she sat in her chair, and just how much better it made her feel was phenomenal. Wow. My mother as well has the power plate move, which is the home use model. She's had 2 hip replacements. So after she'd had, a decent amount of healing and wound healing and all the rest of it, the key was to build the strength back in her legs, enable her to, get back to fully functioning and moving and feeling strong again. And we were able to do that with the power plate. She doesn't want to go to the gym. I tried that for years.
Right.
Not going to the gym, but at home to be able to do those. And we filmed some exercises for her to follow and do along. She had a program that I wrote for her. And one thing she said as well, and might be a vanity point, but we all, feel a certain way about our body. She said, when I stopped using it during the surgery and for a period afterwards, she said my cellulite came back again really bad. But the more she was using it, she noticed how much smoother her skin felt. And, after hip surgery, where she's got these 2 big scars either side, still likes to go on holiday and wear a swimsuit, just made her feel a lot better about herself as well. And then, in terms of independent clients that are of no relation to me, I was working with a woman last week that's similarly osteoporosis. We've just started her journey with power plate, worked through simple number of exercises. She's got a frozen shoulder as well. So we're able to do some exercises to both mobilize, reduce the pain, increase the range of motion. I mean, it's 20 years I've been doing this. There's been cases of working with people that are paraplegic, and we've been able to get some core strength and ability for those individuals to sit up without being assisted. Just to be able to sit at a table and have dinner rather than, needing to be supported. So it can be as powerful as that, through to the smaller cosmetic benefits that just make us feel better. And when we feel better, we're more motivated to go out and be social and do things. And then there's the research that we have as well on the things we've talked about: bone density, muscle mass, stability. The list kind of goes on and on. But one thing that I think is important, or probably will cause most people to go, yeah, that's me, is the pain reduction benefits of power plate. I think, me as well, I was an athlete. I haven't got to that stage of life quite yet, but it's knocking on the door, and I'm aware of trying to prevent and offset as best as I can. But I have so much pain from my years of training, because I didn't train moderately. I trained at a very excessive
high level. Right. Yeah.
So now my body, I've got early sort of osteoarthritis in my case, in pretty much every joint in my body. So a big goal of mine day to day is to be pain-free, so I can continue to train, function, move, do my job, and all the things that I want to do. So the way power plate helps with pain reduction is in its mechanical action. And I always say to people, if you hit your elbow really hard, apart from ouch, what's the first thing you do when you hit your elbow?
Rub it.
Yeah. Grab it.
We're creating this mechanical action which stimulates blood flow to that area and lymph flow, which removes the chemical signals of pain. So think of power plate as a very large mechanical action, okay? That when we use it, it's significantly stimulating that blood flow and lymph flow to remove the chemical signals of pain. So regular use of power plate, whether it's for pain associated with osteoporosis, MS, muscle dystrophy, whatever it might be, regular use helps keep the pain at bay. And that's both in studies and anecdotally, we've heard people say that. So I think most of us, to whatever degree, have some pain. So doing something that can reduce that pain is highly, highly significant and impactful. And I don't mean pain like an acute injury, you've just fallen off a ladder or whatever. No, we mean those day-to-day kind of aches and pains that most people suffer with. So that's another area where work with so many people just to keep that pain at bay.
Yeah.
So we're not relying on medication so much,
right.
like you talked about, right?
Right. And that was a question I had for you. I've seen some of your Instagram videos where you're working out, and they are impressive. But that's got to be, I mean, part of the reason why I don't exercise, I mean, I wouldn't even exercise at a fraction of that level, but part of the reason why I'm not a big exercise person is because I don't like the recovery pain. And what I'm hearing from you is that's something that power plate can substantially reduce and alleviate.
Well, it's kept me in one piece considering the type of training I do. But one thing I will say is that as much as, Instagram will show the highlights and, the fun workouts and whatever, there's just as much, if not more time when my workouts have been drastically cut back because of, just as I'm getting older, I don't lift as heavy as I used to lift. I don't need to. Okay, there's ego, there's a challenge to myself sometimes of wanting to do it, but I don't need to. So occasionally I'll do some fun plyometrics and jumping and some high intensity stuff. But I definitely say over the last 5 years, there's been a big shift towards less weight, less jumping, more controlled movements. And power plate's been a huge help in that, because I then don't feel like I'm compromising on the benefits, but I'm reducing the impact and stress to my body at the same time. And I think as we get older, and look, most people I'm trying to motivate to move at all, but if there are people that have exercised quite hard and like, the challenge of intense exercise, I would encourage us to move more towards the low intensity type of training. But we all need to strength train as we get older. Mm-hmm. Maintaining your muscle mass is the number one thing you can do for yourself from 40, 45 and beyond, because that muscle is your longevity key. If you can hold on to that muscle as you get older, your metabolism is going to be better, bone density is going to be better, your balance, your stability, your function in life. So, and power plate helps build and maintain muscle mass. So without the heavy weights. Yeah. So if there's one bit of advice I'd say is keep your muscle.
That is, we've talked about that a lot on our podcast in the past, because we are fully aware of that. And of course, with older parents, we see how that can affect your quality of life as you get older. So yeah, that's huge.
And it's simple things as well. Like, how many old people can't get up off a chair either without help or without using their hands to do so? Yes. Don't take that power away from people by helping them. Let people get up by themselves. And if you can keep those legs strong and that core strong, you're going to be getting up out of a chair. If you fall as you get older, you need to be able to get up off the floor. So I know we're talking older here, but it's still important to put those things in place at this age and make sure that we're able to do things for ourselves as we get older.
Well, I remember hearing or reading that many times people go into assisted living basically because they cannot get up off the toilet and they can't have somebody there with them all the time. So that's where they'll lose their independence. So it is so important, so important. Can't stress it enough. So important to keep our own independence.
For sure.
Yeah. Caroline, I have another question. This just actually popped in my head because I know that there are women out there that are saying, I've seen all different companies, different products for this whole body vibration, and specifically power plate versus less expensive, significantly less expensive. As a matter of fact, my daughter just contacted me yesterday and I said, you need to listen to the next podcast episode. Yes. She knows I love mine. So she wants to know, what is the difference? And I know that you have so much research about power plate on the site, but can you talk a little bit about, like, if they're looking to purchase a vibration plate, what is the difference with some of the different companies?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and a question obviously I'm asked a lot. So one of the key differences is, are we talking about vibration plates or what we call teeter-totter plates? So if you look at some of these other models and you can see the movement, that's not vibration training. That's what we call teeter-totter. Great for balance, has its own benefits, but that's not a vibration that's stimulating muscle activation, that's stimulating these reflex muscle contractions that we're talking about and all the other benefits. So firstly, and there are other vibration machines, but are we talking about a teeter-totter, a automatic wobble board, so to speak, or are we talking about vibration plate? When it comes to vibration machines, they're not all made equal. And sometimes power plate being the leaders, the name power plates become synonymous with vibration when they are very different. Power plate's the only medically approved vibration device on the market. We're medically approved. We're actually considered a medical device product over and above a fitness product as well. And again, all the research is out there to support that. And our frequencies are very specific. So the frequency power plate operates in from 25 to 50 hertz is out of range of the natural frequencies of the organs in our body. The organs in our body vibrate between 5 and 20 hertz. So there's no resonating or interference with anything within our body. You'll see some machines on the market that vibrate even faster, of which case your body can't respond at that speed. It's doing nothing. You go into this tetanic constant contraction. Your neurons can't send messages to the muscles to contract even faster than 50. Even at 50, it's difficult for a lot of people. And if they vibrate at a frequency less than or around 20 or less, there's interference with the body. So power plates frequencies are very unique and very specific to what is safe, studied, and has no interference, yet has all the benefits that the studies and the research show it to have. So essentially, it's the leader in whole body vibration training. It's a very smooth harmonic vibration. It's what we call like this even wave format. Some forms of vibration have had bad press, such as pneumatic drills, jackhammers, all those sort of vibration devices that can cause harm to the body. Power plate is tested and trusted and a very smooth harmonic vibration that the body will respond to, basically. It's like, yes, you can go cheaper, but are you going to get the benefit? Right. So it's really about the studied, tested, and proven model when it comes to power plate.
Well, power plate itself has been around for a lot of years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 20 plus years, about 20 years for myself, and it had been on the market a few years before that. It was very first used with the Dutch Olympic team in order to help with their performance.
Wow.
It was a Dutch Olympic coach that took the concept of vibration and first used it for performance in athletes. And then, like I say, in the 20 years I've been working with power plate and been a huge advocate, it's been used in so many different ways, from medical to performance to wellness. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I think, that within the industry itself now, I know just having been in it a long time myself, I think there has been a big shift from the whole I want to look muscly and six-pack abs and fit to I want to live longer, feel better, the whole longevity biohacking, concept. And power plate's the ultimate biohack.
Yeah, I definitely, I mean, I did my research and I wanted to get rid of osteoporosis. So I wanted strong bones.
And you did it.
And I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yep. Longevity is the name of the game. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And not just longevity, not just living longer, but living well.
Yeah.
And feeling good. Quality of life is huge.
Okay. So I think we have one more question. I think you were going to ask Caroline, right?
Okay. So Caroline, well, first of all, we're fortunate to have you on the podcast and we appreciate that. And we have so many fantastic women who have agreed to come on. And one of the things we're doing is we're asking them, what are 3 things you would have told your younger self just to help pass your philosophies on to our audience?
Oh, does it have to be fitness related or anything?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I think for me personally, I've always been very driven. As an athlete, you're very goal orientated. It's all about being faster, better, stronger, and all the rest of it. And I've sort of applied that to everything in my life. So I think what I would have told my younger self is, when you're in that moment doing the things that you wanted to achieve and the goals that you set for yourself, enjoy them. Because I think for the most part of my life, once I got to whatever it was I was trying to achieve, I'm already thinking about what's next. Well, what's next? What can I do more of? How can I make sure I can continue to do that? So the first thing for me would be to enjoy the moments a little bit more and not always be looking far ahead. I think the second thing would have been to sort of trust the process a little bit as well. I think, again, I'm probably naturally have a little bit of an anxious, worrying tendencies. So I think sometimes, and that's all very well in hindsight when I've seen how things have played out. And obviously there's been bumps along the way, but to just have a little bit more trust in the process. I think I would also have told my younger self, maybe, well, again, this is with hindsight, but maybe have focused a little bit earlier on taking care of my injuries. And I think so many of us, you get a little niggle or a pain or whatever, and I'm someone that, it'd be fine. I'll just keep going. I'll be fine. Yeah. We can all put our hand up to that. And I think if I'd taken a little bit better care of some things earlier on, I wouldn't be trying to backpedal so much now in terms of sort of getting my body into a position where it feels better. And of course, I've had incredible tools with power plate and I do everything longevity based now. But had I had a little bit more knowledge in my younger years about that, or sort of that foresight to understand, yes, I want to be the best in the world at what I do now, but how's that going to impact me when I was older? I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have listened to myself, but maybe I would have done. I don't know.
That's great advice.
That is great advice. And I feel you, because when I was a young and hungry lawyer and I was, I was doing everything I could to get to the next level and, get the best result for the case and et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, all of those things ring true for me, especially be in the moment and enjoy it and trust the process. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Absolutely.
You're talking to type A's here.
Yep.
Yeah, we feel you. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So the ladies out there can take your wisdom to heart now, especially the younger ones who are listening, who we hope are listening. Ladies, take all that wisdom, live in the moment, pay attention to those little injuries, and really just, you want a long, productive, independent life. So yeah.
To enjoy and feel good and have that well-being, and a strong, healthy body is the foundation for that. I really believe it. So
yeah, and I think we get this one vehicle for life, and I think just taking care of it is something we should all probably give a little bit more importance to. It's all very well to not want to and not have the motivation, but like I said, put strategies in place where you do it and you benefit from it, even if you don't always feel like it. People always say to me, how do you have the motivation to train every day? I'm like, I don't have the motivation to train every day. I have those days I don't want to do it, and some days I don't do it, and that's okay. But most of the time I have a method, a strategy where I'm just going to do it.
Yeah. Just
wonderful.
do it.
Just do it. Yep. You got it.
Caroline, it's been a pleasure to have you. And
would you like to it's wonderful to talk to you both.
Would you like to tell our audience where they can reach you or see you?
Yeah, sure. My Instagram, which you mentioned, has a lot of workouts, but also my work in sports broadcasting as well. So I talk to a lot of athletes and share everything from lifestyle and fashion and wellness and longevity. And that's at Caroline Pearce. So you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Caroline Pearce.
Okay,
wonderful.
Great. And actually, we have a special offer from PowerPlate. They were gracious enough to do this. So they will offer 20% off PowerPlate products, and you can use our promo link. It's powerplate.com/girlish gurus. So it's POWERPLATE.com/GIRLISHGURUS. I did it.
Yay!
And don't forget, that's 20% off. That is a fantastic deal.
Yes.
And we will also put that link in the show notes, so you can find it there if you don't have pen and paper at the moment. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So again,
well,
Caroline, thank you so much for being here today.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much.
And we look forward to stalking you on Instagram.
Oh, yes, for sure. Yes. This has been so much fun.
Oh, good. That's really fun. Thanks, ladies.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hopefully that's helpful to people and they've learned something. So
yeah,
absolutely. And I will tell my husband to put his water down before he gets on the power plate.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to him with it as well. I'm sure he's going to get some great results.
Okay, wait a minute. Before we sign off, I do have to tell you, because that reminded me. I just saw a reel of two women sitting on a vibration plate. I don't know the brand.
I've seen this one. It's
drinking
not
glasses of wine.
You know how many people have sent that to me?
That's hysterical.
I not moved like that for one, but it's fun.
It was actually, it was very funny.
That's hysterical.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that. That's not good. And spill it. You're going to get red wine everywhere. You're a red wine drinker. That's not good.
You don't want to be doing that. Don't want to waste the wine.
No.
All right.
It will accelerate the rate you get that alcohol into your bloodstream, though. That's one thing for sure.
Hey, that cuts down the amount of wine you actually have to drink, so that saves in calories.
Cheap date.
All kinds of good stuff here. Very good.
I love it.
All right. Well, again, thank you for coming on, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Girlish Gurus. We hope you'll join us next time for more fun and inspiration. Be sure to check the description of this episode for links and information about the topic, and you can find us on our social media platforms, starting with Instagram, Facebook, and now including YouTube. You can find us by searching Girlish Gurus, and you can also check out our website, girlishgurus.com, for more information on us, our projects, books, and our growing community.
And don't forget to download this episode, give it a good review, and share it with your girlfriends. We would also love to hear from you in the comments, because the more interaction we get, the more episodes we can post. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.